Okay, well, I just have to share with you this one little joke, and unfortunately, it's for the men. But I read this on Facebook. I thought it was just cute that there's 4 stages of life. That number 1 is you believe in Santa Claus. Number 2 is that you don't believe in Santa Claus. Number 3 is that you dress up like Santa Claus, and number 4 is you look like Santa Claus. Oh. So, I'm oftentimes inspired by various ministers, and I have to admit that I was actually inspired by my last year's talk. Every so often, I'm like, oh, that was actually a really good talk. And so you're getting this year pretty much what you got last year, with a few additions to it. But I do like to start out with a poem that I wrote many years ago that most of you have heard along the way. And it goes like this. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and all through my house, not a present was wrapped, not a shirt or a blouse. The stockings were crumpled, all bunched in a pile, and cards sat unopened the length of a mile. My baking ingredients were scattered around. The butter was melting, yet made not a sound. The kids, they were screaming. The dogs, they were yelping. My partner was sleeping instead of just helping. Oh. That is absolutely not true about him, but the tree needed trimming, the ornaments scattered, the cat got the wrapping paper all torn and all tattered. My shopping list somehow mysteriously grew, and how I would pay for it, I hadn't a clue. The laundry was calling, the teapot was whistling, my pressure increasing to a point just past sizzling. I felt overwhelmed, I was filled with despair. I started to feel like I just didn't care. When deep in my heart, there arose such a stirring. I stopped what I was doing to see what was occurring. Away to the bedroom, I flew like a flash, turned out the lights, and put down the sash. I lit just one candle. Its flame was a-burning. My mind was still racing. My stomach was churning. I took a deep breath, and I let out a sigh, held my head in my hands, and began gently to cry. I said, God, this year has been truly quite tough. I've been dealing with all kinds of really hard stuff. And I thought to myself, life can be such hard work. And that's when I saw it, and I turned with a jerk, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but this one tiny flame from a candle so near. I look around in this room that was darkened, and the flame, it was dancing as if angels had hearkened. The lights, how they danced on the wall from the flicker, moving gaily and freely, I just had to snicker. And deep in my heart, a voice spoke so clear. You are that flame, oh my child, so dear. And the voice then continued so soft and so light, it filled all of my senses with peace and delight. It said, deep down within you is buried a flame, and in everyone else, it's exactly the same. It's the light of the Christ child ready to be born, but you don't have to wait, dear, until Christmas morn. For right in this moment, you can call forth the sun. That light is within you, my dear, precious one. And all that you need to bring it to birth is to be love and kindness, to be peace on earth, to reach out a hand when a friend's heart is hurting, to be love and compassion when a foe's mouth is spurting, to give of your blessings to others, to help others through, to be kind to your neighbor, knowing that they are you. Let go of your worry, let go of your strife, just be in the moment. Enjoy the journey of life. Pick up a flower and savor its smell. Notice life's beauty. On these things do dwell. When life seems overwhelming, piled up on top, just stop what you're doing, my child. Just stop. And remember, life's not to be lived in a hurry. The true meaning of life is experienced in the journey. Then I felt a warm glow and a peace filled my being. My spirit was open and I was finally seeing the true meaning of Christmas. It was crystal clear that Christ be born in me every day of the year. That Christ be born in me every day of the year. And that's really what this is about. This is what life is about. It's about living in this awakened conscious awareness of how we give so much of our energy away to things that don't matter. We give so much of our time away to things that don't matter. And I love that reminder that life is to be enjoyed in the journey of life itself. And I know that as we sit here today, that there are many of you that have had exactly what this poem talked about, that you've had some really tough things that you've had to deal with this past year. And it makes it hard as we go into this holiday season when we've experienced perhaps a loss of a job, perhaps a loss of a loved one through death, or maybe through the loss of a friendship, the loss of a relationship in some way. Maybe you've been dealing with the loss of health or something. And it's hard. We have to remember, those of us who have had a really pretty good year, it's important for us to remember that the people around us, that they need us to be the presence of the Christ more than ever right now. That it is so important for us to be able to be in that awakened state and that awareness where we can move past the facade. You know, we come and we gather together on Sunday mornings and we see each other and we say, "Hi, how you doing?" "Oh, fine. How are you doing?" And we don't get any further than that most of the time. And yet I can guarantee you right now that you're sitting around people that something deep is going on with them. And it's important that as sojourners on this journey of life, that we open ourselves up, we open our hearts up in a way that we connect at a deeper and a different level. And it's not that necessarily you have to go to somebody and say, "Hey, tell me your whole story, what's going on with you?" But when we're in that centered place, and when we're willing to be connected, really connected, something in us will recognize that somebody just needs a smile, or somebody just needs eye contact, or somebody just needs, a pat on the shoulder, or just to take their hand and just to say, I see you, and I'm here, and you matter. You matter to me. Is there anything that I can do? Is there any way that I can be here to support you? Is there any way that I can do that? And I want to encourage us as a spiritual community, because the reality, you guys, is we come in and out of these doors, and that's exactly what we do. We just come in and out. "Hey, how you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine." And we don't often connect on that deeper level. And it's vitally important. It's vitally important in our world today that we start connecting at that deeper level. I had the opportunity, because we just had one service today, so I got to watch a little bit of CBS this morning, Sunday morning CBS, and it was so great because the one little thing I got to see was a little thing about kindness. And did anybody else get to see that this morning? Oh my gosh, it was so great. Paul and I got to watch that, and because it just reminded me of what this is about, and the connection, and this whole segment was about how kindness, how it affects us, first of all. And that the guy didn't say kindness is your spiritual DNA. He said kindness is in our DNA, that is who we are, that is what we are, that is what our bodies actually need. And he said that when we live in a space of kindness, that literally it softens everything. It softens our arteries. It makes our heart not have to work as hard. And it was just such an incredible thing to be watching this morning on the Sunday morning, and then just story after story about kindness, and it's so, it's relevant no matter when, but it's especially relevant now. It's especially relevant where we are living in a country that is so divided. We are living in a country where it's really hard to even have a conversation with somebody who doesn't believe the same way as you believe, because there's these sides that have been, taken, and we've put our, I can't think of the words, but you guys get it because I'm doing that, We've anchored ourselves in, and we have this real divide, and that is dangerous for us to have this divide. And we cannot wait for somebody else to come along and to create a bridge in that we have to be the bridge builders. We have to be the ones that are building the bridges, and a willingness to be with people who think very differently from us, but still be able to be present with them and be in a state of kindness with them, be in a state of a desire even to understand from their perspective what it is that they're thinking and they're feeling. That's not easy, is it? But it's what we are, you guys. It's what we are. As I look at what Christmas means, from a very traditional standpoint, Christmas is celebrated as the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. It's the whole story is about the birth. Well, I've shared before that, for centuries and centuries and centuries before that, there are 4 or 5 other stories that tell that same birth story before Jesus came along. I mean, to the point of the virgin birth, the star, the wise men. I mean, it's the same story, and it's being told again when Jesus, with Jesus's birth. And so I look at that, and I think, are we missing the mark in the bigger realm of what it is that we're really celebrating and quote unquote worshiping? Because Jesus never wanted it to be about him. He never pointed to himself. He was always pointing to us, and he was pointing to what we were, what we are. And I sincerely believe that this whole opportunity, like what Christmas represents for us, is that we are the second coming. You and I, we are the second coming. And that there's not going to be a physical Jesus that's going to appear. It's us. Because he said, that the Father and I are one, and that which is within me is also within you. The things that I have done, you can do these things and more. Ye are gods. Do ye not know that ye are gods? He continuously pointed back to us. The kingdom is here. The kingdom is at hand. The kingdom is within. The kingdom is not up in the sky somewhere. That it's all right here, right now. And I look at, because part of what today is about is receiving the gift. And have we really received the gift of what he came to tell us and to remind us about, that many teachers before him came and shared the same message? It's like, are we ever going to really get it? And are we ever really going to receive that we are here to be loved? We are here to be loved by the allness of God, and we are here to love. We are the beloved, and we are here to love. We are here to be in service to love. We are here to be the Christ expression. That is what the celebration of tomorrow is. It's the rebirthing, it's the emergence of the Christ Spirit that you and I are. And it's recognizing, I like to think of it as, Jesus oftentimes went apart. And he went apart, and he was an open receptacle. He was an open vessel. And he went apart, and he went into the silence, and he let himself just be filled. Be still and know that I am God. And I love the scripture from Matthew 16:13 to about 18. And this is when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi. He asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" And they replied, "Some say you're John the Baptist, some others say Elijah, still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets," which, by the way, speaks of reincarnation right there. I just want to let you know about that. Because these people are no longer alive, and that's what they're saying. So he says, "But what about you?" He asked, "Who do you say that I am?" And Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you," and here's how it reads, "and I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." Now, because the Bible has been translated over and over again, because any little dot placed or misplaced can change the meaning of the scripture, it has been talked about that perhaps there was a comma that was supposed to be in this. Because really, when you think about it, here's Jesus and he's saying, who do people say that I am? And, you are the Son of God, and you're the Son of the living God. And then he would turn around and say, and I tell you that you're Peter. I'm the Son of the living God. And I'm telling you that you're Peter. Like Peter didn't know that he was Peter. And so the thought is that there's a comma after the R. And I'm saying that you are Peter, that you are the Son of the living God. And it's upon this rock, it's upon this knowing that I will build my church. Totally changes things, doesn't it? And doesn't that make more sense? I mean, why really? You're the Son of the living God, and I say that you're Peter. It's like big whoop, Thanks for letting me know what my name is, But I say that you are the sons and the daughters of the living God. And can we receive that gift? Can we truly receive that we are that? And I think that two things come up for us. One is that I think we don't go apart enough to be in the silence and to be the vessel, the open vessel and the receptacle for all that God is, to reveal itself as us and through us. Because why? Because we live in such a busy life, don't we? I mean, I know what busy life is, and it's hard to make that time. But we can't, it's hard. It's also, I think, hard for us then to really allow, be able to recognize what those qualities are if we're not taking some time at least to go apart and just be that open vessel. Here I am, God. My greatest desire is to express my Christed principle, my Christed beingness. Guide me. Help me to understand. Reveal to me what that looks like, what that is. And the thing is, just in that openness and that asking, it will be revealed. And it may not be revealed in those moments, and it may be revealed in those moments, but it will continue to be revealed as we keep ourselves open to that. The other reason I think that we don't really receive the gift is because I don't think that we feel that we're really worthy of it. Who am I? Who am I to think that I am the Christ? That I am the second coming? Who am I to think that? That's big, isn't it? And yet what I want to tell you is that you are. And the beauty of God, the beauty of the nature of God, the nature of love, is that it only loves. Love never sees anything that you see as far as fallacies about yourself, as far as shortcomings, as far as failures. Those are things that the ego mind sees. But God as love, the love that gives for the sake of loving because that is its nature to do so, only sees its creation in its perfection. And I believe its greatest, and I kind of, to say it this way makes it sound like it's a being, but that the greatest desire is for us to get it and to wake up to it and to remember how precious we are, to remember how supernatural we are. We have not even tapped in to the power that is within us. We haven't even begun to tap into it. And yet all of these things that it is said that Jesus did, all of these extreme things, he said, you can do these things and even more. And when I think about that power, I think about, and I always go to this because I love this image and this feeling of the woman who was simply walking. She'd been hemorrhaging for like many years, and she simply touched the hem of his garment. And in that moment, he knew it. He felt it. And he said, somebody has touched me. And I love the thought that just touching the hem of the garment, something just like woke up in her. And that's our opportunity, is that we had the opportunity simply to touch just the hem of the garment and to wake up to our true nature, our true reality, and to recognize that as we are journeying in life today. And as we can look at ourselves as being these little tiny nano little somethings in the whole scheme of things and think that how can I really matter? But the reality is that you are humongous in the reality of things, and that you do matter, and that every act of kindness, every act of compassion, every act of self-love, self-worth, self-value, every act of connecting, every act of oneness, every act of standing for what you know is right and good and true and pure, standing for it is making a difference, a huge difference that you cannot begin to see in the allness of everything. And if every one of us started to take that responsibility and to really stand in that and live from that and be so clear in our consciousness that this is who I am choosing to be today. I am choosing to be the light. I am choosing to be the love. I am choosing to be the kindness and compassion and the oneness. I am choosing to be the possibility. I'm choosing to be one who gives hope. I am choosing one who speaks faith. I am choosing to be the one who is going to stand for what is right. Every time that one of us does that, it unconsciously gives people around us permission to do the very same thing. And as we've talked about many, many times, as each of us wakes up to that light becomes so brilliant and so bright. You know, I love with our candle lighting service, you know, you start like with a candle and it's beautiful. But when you get all those candles lit in a room, it's powerful. I mean, it's powerful. It's a palpable energy that you feel. And that, again, that's our opportunity. So today is about, you know, let's receive the gift. Let's be an open vessel, an open receptacle for that Christ principle to be activated in us and as us. And you know, the other part of that is it's you know, as you receive, so you shall give. Then it's in the giving of that. So I want to share with you some things about giving. I totally didn't follow my talk at all today, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. Okay. So as we're giving, the things that I'm talking to you about today and giving are not gifts of the physical realm, but I'm going to encourage you to look at what is it that you desire to experience the most in your life? What is it that you feel is something that has been lacking in your life? Is it peace? Is it joy? Is it connection, hope, support, love, abundance? Is it trust, guidance, happiness, acceptance? And whatever it is, what I want to encourage you to do is to make a commitment within your being to give whatever it is that you desire to experience in your life. You know, as you give, so shall you receive. So if you want to be accepted, if you want to be loved for who you are, then guess what? It's time for you to accept others and to love them for who they are. You know, so many times, and I discovered this in my life, that the very thing that I desired, I would withhold. And numerous times in my life, all of a sudden I'd have that awareness that, you know, I would, you know, maybe somebody was judging me unrighteously or something. And before I even knew it, man, I had my walls up and I was judging them because they were judging me. And then I had that realization, the very thing I'm desiring from somebody else, I'm not even giving it myself. And so it's important for us to give whatever it is that we want to receive. If you want to feel peace in your own beingness, you know, then presence, peace. If you could go forward, I forgot my clicker. John 14:27 is, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not let them be afraid. And the next one is, these things I have spoken to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Be a receptacle of peace. You know, we look again, you know, it's hard because there's a lot going on in our world today and our own country today. And if we want to experience peace, we have to presence peace. We're the ones that have to presence it, that we have to speak it, we have to be it. We have to show up as that peace. If you want joy, bring more joy into the lives of people around you. Whatever it is that you want, I encourage you to give whatever it is that you desire. And what this is going to do is, thank you. Yeah, thank you. This is going to lead to exceeding great joy. So I found something from Marianne Williamson, and this is from a year-long reading that she has called A Year of Miracles. And so I would like to invite us to read this together. There's 2 pages to this, but it's so incredibly beautiful. So, together. Today, I accept myself as I am. Who God created is divinely perfect, and that includes me. I have made mistakes for which I atone, but my mistakes are not who I am. Today, may I be who I am called to be, that my thoughts and actions might glorify love. Within my heart, as within all hearts, there is the light of a divine creator, and that is who I am. Nothing I have done or that others have done, nothing I have thought or that others have thought can dim the light that dwells in me. I pray to see the perfection in others that I might see it in myself. I pray for the strength to forgive all others that I might forgive myself. I pray for the power to love all others that I might love myself. Today, I will not be tempted by a false humility that would proclaim I am not enough. Indeed, I am enough, as is everyone. May neither my wounded places, nor my weaknesses, nor my mistakes of the past obscure the light that dwells within me. Rather, may I accept myself with the tender mercies that God Himself has shown me. He creates anew in every moment the chance for me to shine. Through Him, for Him, and because of Him, I can. And in closing, now the presents are still sitting there, yes, unwrapped, and sometimes I feel like my energy's zapped. The kids are still yelling, my partner's sleeping, but these days I don't feel near as much like weeping. I take a deep breath and come back to the one, and I say, thank you, God, for this journey I'm on. I am filled with your love. I am filled with your essence, and in the core of my being, I feel your presence. I know you are with me every step of the way, and I choose to express my Christ spirit every day. So you'll hear me exclaim as I do what I do. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you, and I see that that beautiful Christ spirit is born in each of you. And namaste. Namaste.